This is Sunday, January 3rd, 2021. The old farmer and Mrs. Old Farmer are traveling 2.5 hours from home, all the way to just west of the South Bend International Airport in Indiana on a miserable day indeed. South Bend has just survived an ice storm that almost put them back to the Ice Age. So why are we traveling to some place that is trying to dig out of the after effects of such a storm? Mrs. Old Farmer and I are on a mission, so come along with us. This is a story that I'm asking everyone to pass around as much as possible. I believe you'll see why in a minute. I'm Scott Bain, they call me the Old Farmer, along with Mrs. Old Farmer. This story starts on October 31st, 2020, when the old farm dog Mimi passed away in my arms at 16 and a half years old. She was a rescue dog that we had gotten from the Capital Area Humane Society serving the greater Lansing, Michigan area. Mimi actually asked to come home with me, and we rapidly became a family. When Mimi had health issues, Mrs. Old Farmer and I were right there with Mimi, and she knew it. When I had health issues, Mimi turned herself into a service dog and did everything she could to help me. Her loss put both Mrs. Old Farmer and me into a tailspin where we just walked through the days. We knew we wanted another dog, and I wanted another Bichon Frisé female for the next family dog. We didn't mind if she was a rescue or a puppy. I like that Bichons are hypoallergenic and very, very intelligent. Bichons are happy dogs and love to cuddle or go on long walks. We were past the age of having large dogs. We couldn't find any Bichons available for less than $2,500. Unless they were a mixed breed. We have had a couple of dogs that were rescues, and we're looking in this direction too. Beware of many rescue shelters. They are more into politics than fitting a dog or even a cat to the proper home. In fact, I will be contacting some of the commercial supporters that give financial help. Not to say stop supporting such places, but to have them review such things as adoption applications and other factors which are used to bring together a rescue and families. In other words, do you want to be supporting such an organization that demands their terms rather than what is best for the animal? As an example, I strongly recommend not to use fencing to turn loose a dog, especially a small dog. Always use a leash with a halter and take walks. If need be, double leash with a collar and a halter. I do not like using slip leashes on small dogs. After saying this about some rescue missions, there are others that listen to how a person works with an animal. These are not easy applications, but they care about the proper placement, not mandating such things that are actually dangerous for dogs. A dog in a fenced-in area can be stolen, to be sold, or used for training fighting dogs. Wild animals can come and attack your dog. A hawk can take down a fawn. So what chance does your dog have against wild animals? A penned dog can hurt themselves or get tangled with a fence. So I demand that dogs should not be let loose in a fenced area, with the exception that you're there to monitor your dog, such as while gardening. Yet some rescue shelters demand fencing. I think these shelters, if they can't be re-educated, should be shut down. Mrs. Old Farmer and I got a rescue Bichon. She is 5 years old, no confidence, and very distrustful. We call her Maggie. The place we got her from was one of the good places. They were concerned with placing Maggie. They called her a flight risk, and even though they tried to work with her, she was beyond their experience, considering they have 20 to 30 animals and each have separate needs. They did their best. The person we talked to was Becky. She had very high standards for placing a rescue. She did not demand this or that. She listened to my experiences with training horses and how I turned a horse who was abused back into a trusting horse that loved being around people. Mrs. Old Farmer and I drove to South Bend, Indiana for a 3 o'clock appointment. We got there a bit early. About 2:45, they brought the Bichon out to us. It was almost a fight on the dog's part when I tried to pick her up. When she was in my arms, she loved to cuddle. I did not set her down until we got home. This was about 4.5 hours later. When we were in the car, she snuggled right in, and I crooned to her all the way home. This was Sunday night. By Monday, she knew her name and started bonding with us. She loved sitting on our laps and cuddling. We use a crate for a bed, and during the day we leave the door open. At night we close it. Maggie was very comfortable with this procedure. She felt secure. We had to teach her how to walk on a leash, and she started liking walks by Tuesday. She doesn't like leashes or slip ropes, so we only use a leash on a halter. She was thought to be a biter when walking her, and that she fought and struggled on walks. What is really happening is she's scared of the leash, so we keep it away from her face. She does not like her back legs off the ground, so when we picked her up, we get a hand quickly under her back feet to make her feel secure. She's getting better. Maggie does not bite. What she does is show you she can bite by getting a hand in her mouth and put just a little pressure on your hand without breaking the skin nor even dimpling where the teeth are. She's actually a very gentle, loving dog. Wednesday, she started realizing that walking was for bathroom breaks besides just walking. If it isn't too cold, she likes her walks. Thursday, she started telling us when she wanted a walk. She also wants to know where we both are. She is feeling safe with us and is bonding. I won't chance letting her off the leash yet, but I think if I did, she would not run off. Maggie is not to the point where she thinks of all three of us as a family. I think by the end of January, she will. I train by talking to the animals in a smooth, controlled voice and giving her plenty of cuddles and work on one specific thing each day. Bichons are one of the most intelligent dogs, and it shows with how fast she is learning and adapting to her new home. There are many positive things we wish to say about this specific rescue shelter. Mrs. Old Farmer, Marty, will step up and talk about the shelter. These are good people, and they deserve your support.
Hi there. I'm Mrs. Old Farmer, Marty Bain, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about our new member of the family. Her name is Maggie, and we had quite a journey to find Maggie and bring her into our home, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about that and how that worked out for us. Ever since our beloved Bichon Mimi died in October, the old farmer had been watching internet sites every day for adoptable dogs that might fit into our home. And it was a long and discouraging process. We often found that by the time we saw a dog, they had already been adopted, or we never heard back when we made an inquiry. So our experience with the agency where we found Maggie was as different as night and day from what we had been experiencing, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. So Maggie came to us from Homeward Bound Animal Welfare Group. It's a no-kill shelter, nonprofit organization based in northern Indiana. So it was about a 3-hour drive from where we live in Michigan, which is a trip we were certainly willing to make. Homeward Bound does not have a brick and mortar operation. They're all volunteers. They don't receive any state or federal funding. They rely completely on fundraising and private donations. We spotted Maggie. Her name on the website was Jolly Rose, and we inquired about her, and we heard back right away, which had not been our experience with other rescue organizations. So we were very pleased about that. We filled out an application, and the application was very reasonable, asked pertinent and relevant questions that would definitely affect the dog's welfare and our fitness to care for her. And we had found some other organizations that asked what we felt were kind of frivolous questions, but Homeward Bound seemed to really have the animal's welfare at heart. Their mission is to spay or neuter every dog that comes through their rescue, and that this is in a direct response to counter the overpopulation of unwanted dogs. So again, that's a small group of volunteers, and we were very impressed with their work. We filled out the application for the rescue agency, and we were called for an over-the-phone interview. And again, this happened fairly quickly, and we were pleasantly surprised by that. And our approval also happened within a day or two, and we set up an appointment to meet Maggie and hopefully bring her home. So the process was very well organized, especially with all the COVID restrictions that had to be taken. We found it a very rewarding experience. It was a tiring drive, but the way home we were pretty happy and joyful, and she tolerated the car ride very well. When adopting a rescue animal, in most cases, we don't really know the history of that animal, what may have happened to them in the past, what kind of training they may have had. Many times these animals have never lived in a home, and they are most often not house trained, which is sometimes surprising for people when adopting an adult dog. But if you're aware of these things and willing to be patient and consistent with the dog, Maggie is just having so much success. She's learning something new every day, whether it be getting used to the leash or what the idea of going for a walk is all about. She was not house trained, and we're currently working on that, but she's catching on very quickly. And again, the importance of being consistent and being positive is, I can't stress that enough. We don't rub her nose in her household accidents or anything like that. I just calmly pick her up and we take her outside, and then I quietly clean it up when she's not looking. We know that anybody who works to rescue animals certainly has their heart in the right place. But like I said, our experience with Homeward Bound was exceptional, and they were very well organized, very professional. Maggie was spayed, microchipped. She received several vaccines, was heartworm tested, and received a deworming treatment and as well as flea and tick prevention meds. Their adoption fee was so reasonable that I sincerely doubt if it even covered that vet bill. But it just all worked out really well for us, and we're so happy that she found us and we found her. And if you're interested in learning more about Homeward Bound, we will put their contact information down in the comments. And if you are into helping out a rescue organization, I know they'd very much appreciate it. So again, this is Marty Boehm. I'm Mrs. Old Farmer, and we're happy to tell you a little bit about our newest family member.
We have many, many days ahead of us while Maggie learns new things. I do feel strongly that with my understanding of how to handle dogs, that if Maggie went to another home, it might not have worked. All three of us are a good fit together and growing closer each day. But let me finish by saying, as thoughtless and egotistical some rescue shelters are, puppy mills are 1,000 times worse. It's not the puppies, it's the breeder dogs that are abused, some beyond belief. They are kept in cages with no socializing and medical treatment. Some are physically abused. There is an internet photo of a Bichon that had its tail cut off and was debarked. In other words, its vocal cords cut out. Others show physical wounds to faces and other parts of the body. Mimi came to us full of confidence, and other than the lack of medical care, was not abused. Maggie needs to have her confidence built back up. Someone tried to break her spirit, but with time, we will give it back to her. Maggie is a great dog, a loving dog, and already we can tell she is glad to be here and loves to snuggle with us. So please pass this around to your friends and family about puppy mills and rescue shelters that rather control the process to satisfy their egos instead of listening to someone who knows how to bring an animal to a higher level of normality. Well, this is the Old Farmer Scott Boehm.
And I'm Mrs. Old Farmer, Marty Boehm.
Be well.